So that's super important. So that's what I'm looking for here, okay? So data provision, supply all necessary historical real-time data, relevant investment activities. And then I want to put a timeline on it, right? This is to completed and provided within first project. So I want to make sure I put a timeline on it. Access personnel, facilitate meetings with key stakeholders and team members for requirements gathering and feedback. Okay. And then here, this is to include member of the staff providing structure support, timely feedback, provide prompt reason approvals at each project milestone. That's good, but sometimes you need faster feedback than that, right? So feedback is also to be provided within 72 hours of algorithm results provided by the consultant to client. Right, because this talks about giving feedback, but only at milestone meetings. But if you're in the middle of developing an algorithm, you're going to need it faster than that. So 72 hours gives them 3 days to get back to give you some feedback. So that, I think that's also super important to include. Infrastructure support, availability of for algorithm integration and deployment. Okay, that's a reasonable statement. But I want to make sure I have access quickly, right? So same thing I included here, right? I want to have access within the first 2 weeks. We probably won't need it within the first 2 weeks, but again, don't leave things open-ended. Put a timeline on things. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the client responsibilities phase. What do you guys think? Anybody need to add anything? You guys better hurry up so we can get to the payment so we can get Leo paid. What do you guys think? I think this is pretty reasonable. Sam says, how are the sensitive data transmittals managed to ensure security through encryption and real-time data science business? I assume we don't use just cloud services like MS OneDrive. It depends, Sam. That is client dependent. Everybody has their own approach to data. With financial services firms, they do tend to be a little bit more strict. But other firms are not, and you know, some will use, you know, cloud services, others won't, you know, as far as like the transfers you're asking about. But then again, in this scenario, we are also assuming that we are doing the work on site, right? No data is going to come to us because again, we're asking them to produce the infrastructure. So yeah, it just depends, Sam. It's totally client. Because I'm tempted to say industry specific, but even within industries, every client treats it differently. So there's really just no single answer. Okay, Fatima says that sounds great. Okay, so Fatima's on board with the client responsibilities. Thank you, Fatima. We're going to move on. All right, consultant responsibilities. So this is us, right? So in this section, danger, danger, right? Because this is where we're creating responsibilities and liabilities for ourselves, right? So danger, danger. Analysis and planning, assess the client access, and we're going to capitalize this. Client's current investment strategies and data opportunities for improvement. Algorithm design, develop, and test advanced data science algorithms tailored to the client's objectives. Okay. Integration, seamlessly incorporate the algorithms into the client's existing systems and workflows. Yep. Training and conduct training sessions for the client's team. And provide comprehensive documentation. Communication, maintain regular. I want to make a change here of weekly meetings because, it's reasonable to have a weekly update. All right. I'm happy with this section. This section seems reasonable to me. Now you'll notice in the previous section, I was putting timelines on things, right? Do you think we should put timelines here? Let me know. Give me a 1 in the chat for timelines. Give me a 0 to leave it as it is. 1 to add timelines, 0 to leave it as it is. All right, I see a 0, and a 1. Any other votes? Give me a 1 for more timelines. Give me a 0 to leave it as it is. All right, last call for votes. Seeing a good number of votes. Okay. Good number of votes here. Last call. 10 seconds to get your vote in, guys. Okay, more ones. All right. If you answered a 1, to this question, wrong. These are our responsibilities, right? So, a little bit of strategic thinking, right? So now we got to wear our data science hats. Can we really put a limit on the algorithm development? Algorithm development can take a while, right? Do we really want to cap that? Do we really want to add to our liabilities? I don't. Right? So if you answered 0, pat yourself on the back because you want to leave this as it is. Leave it open-ended. Now, they might come back to you and say, hey, I want to see some more definition here, and that's okay, right? You can go back and forth on that. But why would you want to cap yourself? on some of these items, right? You're the one writing the contract. You can put anything you want in there, right? So again, I love this series because it's going to involve business. It's going to involve legal. And guess what? It also involves strategy, right? You cap them, but why would you cap yourself, right? All right. I think you guys know where I'm going with that, right? So Yassine says, one question regarding the objectives. How do we make sure they are clarified and not leave space or misunderstanding or late changes from the client's part? How do we manage that? Leave space or misunderstanding or late changes from the client's part. Well, the misunderstandings part is hard to say because it depends on the level of misunderstanding and the consequences that come from it. As far as the late changes, we're gonna add that a little bit in the money section, right? In the payment section, which I know Leo just can't wait to get to. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that when you're seen. Leo says, not a limit wouldn't be not a limit wouldn't be professional, at least giving an estimated time. Maybe, but this is a legal negotiation, right? Not necessarily a delivery of an algorithm, right? So this is where it gets a little bit tricky.